Well, I kind of feel like he's still developing. He's doing a good job. He's kind of growing into a lot of different roles. Obviously, the catch down the field was a big play, and it was nice to see him make that play. We're learning more and more about Mike, just his ability to do different things and how we can try to get him in different spots. And to his credit, he's worked hard to do that. So it's an exciting time.
Has his approach to the game changed from last year to where he is today?
You know what? I think naturally, just because you're not a rookie anymore, things change. But I think he's fortunate to be in with a really good group of receivers, good group of guys. I mean, that's probably the most special thing. I think that's really helped in his development with Keenan and Tyrell and Travis. Those guys are really good. They're really good men and really good players, and they talk and they help, each other. And I think situationally as well as just preparationally, they have come a long way in helping Mike. And to Mike's credit, he listens and does a good job.
Has anything surprised you about the way Mike has played over the last couple of weeks?
If you'd asked me this if you'd asked me this a year ago, I would say probably yes, because I hadn't seen him do it. But when we talked about this earlier, we talked about how during the course of OTAs and through camp, he started making more and more plays, and this started building. So, I've been very impressed with his body of work over the last 3 months, and it's just great to see that starting to pay off for him. And a lot of times with a younger player, confidence is a big part of it. And when you make a couple of big plays like he's done, then you can build off of that. So it's been really good to see.
Did that deep ball mean a little more because it was against Marcus Peters, or is that?
Well, it means more. I think it does, yeah. I mean, actually, technically, it was against Marcus and Talib. Talib was coming back over the top, and he got there too. So, two of their best players, he made a play when they were right there. So, yeah, that's impressive. I mean, you got to give Mike credit. He was disciplined in his route. He did exactly what he needed to do, which gave him the leverage to be able to catch the ball. And let's not forget, 17 made a pretty good throw. And but still, Mike did a great job coming down with it.
What are the fine-tuned things that you're going to look for him going forward to improve on or clean up or something like that?
Well, a lot of times it's easy to. Well, we had a play in the game where he slipped on. There was a route when we were backed up on the third down, and we had a pass to him, and he was wrapping in there, and Phillip was getting ready to throw it, and he slipped. He got out of position with his body, and his feet got out from under him, and he went down. And those are the little kind of things that maybe you don't notice because the ball's not coming to him. But in that particular situation, those are the things that all of us, everybody has to continue to work on. Just those kind of things. But once again, he's doing a really good job.
Can you correct that by putting your body in the right position?
Yes. Yeah, it's really about staying over your feet and how you make the cut. Sometimes you stand up too high and you lean the wrong way going into a cut, and your feet catch the grass the wrong way and slip out from under you. Listen, Mike's not the only guy that happens to. You see it happen all the time. But, when you ask me about a little thing that you want to work on, those are some of the little things that you always have to continue to try to work on.
Well, you guys have been better on first down runs this year compared to last year. What's been the difference there?
I think maybe being together for a second year. We've got some new guys. Pouncey has certainly helped. No disrespect to any of the guys that we've had here before, but our group's doing I think just understanding the scheme. We've done a better job of implementing that, and our backs are doing a good job. Alfredo and those guys, he's worked with them and hitting their landmarks and being able to do some things from different scheme-wise that fit what they do well, I think has helped us a lot. So it had to be. I mean, our head coach is a running back guy. If they weren't better, somebody's going to pay, right?
As an offensive guy, what are your feelings towards all the penalties being called and protecting the quarterback and falling on top of him with all your weight and all those penalties called?
With anything, when you talk about defensive pass interference, there's a lot of different calls in this game where they're going to create interest, controversy. I think protecting the quarterback is paramount to this league, just because those guys are so important and they're such good players. So I know the league is trying to do it. They're trying to protect the quarterback, and as with anything, there's always going to be some bumps in the road and trying to make it right. And it's so hard because the game goes so fast. So I think they're trying to do that. I respect that. I know there's a lot of people that have opinions about it, but I can't. I mean, you just have to go out there and continue to push on and not understand. I understand what the uproar is about, but it doesn't affect getting ready to play San Francisco this week. So I didn't put a whole lot of thought into it.
Through 3 weeks, how would you evaluate Sam Teddy on the right side?
I think Sam is growing in that position. I think he's a little bit like Mike Williams. He's getting some extended play time. We saw a little bit of him last year against the Jets. He started that game and did a pretty good job. He made a few mistakes. And I think what you're seeing of him now is he's still making a few mistakes, but he's really doing some good things. And you can tell he's starting to understand the subtleties that come with the position and how to play it. So he's growing into the position. It's, kudos to him, because what you want to see is to have a guy that has his talent work the way that he's working and see him be able to grow into that position. So, he's done a nice job.
Overall, are you pleased with the offensive line through 3 weeks?
It would be hard to say you're pleased about anything when you haven't won all 3 games. But, the thing that I would say, we're pleased with how the guys are working. We're doing some good things, especially in the run game. We're doing some good things protection-wise. I mean, we can always do better. We got to start games better than we've been starting them. But the way the line's coming and working together, I'm pleased with how all that group's going.
Coach, you're going to see a very similar defense this week that you see every day in practice with Robert Saleh and what you did under Gus. Does that factor in, or does that help you all in your preparation?
You think, just like you asked me last week, we knew Wade because we played him all those years in Denver, and does that help you? Sometimes it does. Sometimes it hurts because, you think that what you're going to see, or you're going to get this look. I mean, there's subtle differences that they do. They have different players. We're not going against the same guys that we see every day. So it's different. It is similar, but it is a little bit different. I think you have to try to prepare. You can't say, okay, hey, Gus, run this, and because they run it a little bit different, or you're running it against different players. You have to try to look at it from the perspective of, okay, we're looking at it as a different defense, different guys, and prepare that way.
It goes back to what you were saying about starting games quicker. I think it's been 20 or 21 games something you have to score in the opening possession. Is that something you think about, or and I know you always want to score, but that first possession, is that something you think about?
Yeah, when you guys asked me about it. Yeah. I tell you what, because if you go back to 2016, I think we were one of the better teams in the league in scoring on first possessions, but that didn't get us much. So, I think it is a stat that you can measure things by, but it doesn't necessarily factor into how good you're going to be. Now, I sit up here and say that, and we're 1-2, but yes, we need to be better at starting games. We got down against Denver last year for our chance to break that jinx when we had first and goal, and we went 4 plays and didn't score, and gosh, we just haven't gotten out of that funk yet. So, that's something that we want to do better, and it is something that we talked about.
Speaking of second-year players, Dan Feeney, since taking over to now, how have you seen him grow into the role of starting at left guard?
Yeah, about halfway through the season last year, when he had to get in and play, it was kind of thrown to the wolves, and there were some things where he struggled a little bit, but he's a smart, tough player, and he really works at it, and he does what's really good is having Russell on his left side, because those two communicate really well, and I think it helps him from that standpoint. But he's grown into a good offensive player, good offensive lineman. He's had some pretty tough matchups. Last week against Donald, was not easy, and there was a couple where it was tough for him, just like it is with every lineman that goes against the guy. But he held his own and fought, and we're pleased with how Dan's doing for us.
Antonio got through his vertigo situation last week and then ended up contributing quite a bit in the game. What have you seen from him, just not having had that camp? And obviously he's a veteran, he doesn't necessarily need it, but what have you seen from him just coming in and being able to produce right away?
Well, you always wonder where he is. I mean, he's a veteran, but we hadn't seen him in a long time, and you worry about conditioning, you worry about risk of injury, all of those things. For a guy in his position. And so I think part of the process was getting through that, but it was definitely big for us last week, the way he played and competed. So, he's in a good spot now. I think we can start thinking about more areas that he can contribute to us, and boy, it's good to have him.
How much has it changed this offense now that you've seen it through 3 weeks, not having Hunter and having to adjust given that?
Well, you know, there's a lot of teams that lose really good players, and Hunter's a really good player for us. And I think we're very fortunate because we got a good group of guys that can be multiple and play different spots. And, you know, Virgil has done a really good job for us. He's played well. You can't replace Hunter. Hunter is a very gifted player for us, but, you know, our guys are working and doing a good job. So when Hunter gets back, it'll be awesome because it'll make us even stronger.